Happy Monday. Titans won a football game. That was odd. Just want to point that out. If you guys didn't know that, they play football here, Tennessee. That stadium's not just being built for fun. They actually have a team that plays there. I watched the end of that game. I'm like, you know what? They were down by a whole bunch. I don't still think they've ever scored a touchdown. This poor guy running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I think I'll watch a little bit of that. Sure enough, they won the game. I thought, my buddies were there. It was hilarious. One of my friends, she sang the national anthem yesterday. Patricia, what up? And I was laughing. I'm like, you lost to that team. That is awful. Oh, good God. That was awful. So much stuff to get to. It was a weird weekend of news-y kind of things, right? Because we did some news stuff. I was looking around. I was like, okay. And some, the whole thing with the Chicago and Portland and this battle is Trump's going to do everything he can to send them there. We could sit here and argue whether he should or shouldn't. I don't think he should in some cases. If it's about crime, I don't think he should. If it's about maybe protecting the ice, okay. Okay, let's have a conversation about that. But that being said, the ruling, I love the ruling on, was it Saturday against Oregon, which is Trump, you can't use Oregon's National Guard to come here to protect ice. He's like, this is okay. I'm going to use California's.
Can he do that?
It's what he did.
Oh.
Illinois said the same thing. He's like, it's okay. Texas is sending a bunch. So he's just using the different states.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just sitting there going, look, where does everything end up with Trump? It ends up in court. And even when there's court, he feels sometimes it's more a suggestion, which we know is not true. But
Suggestion.
Yeah. Well, they told you couldn't do it. Well, did they really tell me that? Or did they say I shouldn't do it this way? Because I feel like they told me I can't use theirs. I got to use somebody else's.
Tell it to the judge, honey.
Yeah. And Pritzker's he's imploring with Abbott. He's like, hey, you should not do this. And Abbott's all,
Yeah.
because you know how he feels. So there we go. Look, now, is it fair to ask some questions about what went down in Chicago? Yeah. And I was listening to Chris earlier. The fraternal brotherhood of the officers or whatever were so upset by the fact that the police were denied when ICE called and said, we got issues and you need to send some people. They were upset. They said, no matter who the officer is, no matter why they're calling, you go. And they didn't. And things got out of hand. They did. Now, the raid the other day, which a lot of people are talking about, could we have a conversation about that? Yeah. Let's do that. That's fine. But this isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And I continue to go back to this. Love Trump, hate Trump, whatever it is. Remember, Democrats, you allowed, 12 million plus people to wander through like it was Disneyland? They might as well have put up one of those little things where you cross it and the little thing clicks. It was insane. And you allowed this. And then people said, you know what? We don't want this. This is not what we signed up for. It's one thing being, okay with allowing some people to come here from certain countries, giving people the opportunity for asylum. It's another thing for this to be wide open. So the mess you're seeing is a mess you created by allowing the likes of Biden and, of course, the czar, Kamala. You allowed that. That was a you thing. And this is the reaction to it. And people, Ken, you and I have talked about it. A lot of people want stuff. They don't want to see how the sausage made.
Yes.
And the sausage is at times not looking, it doesn't look good.
It can be messy.
It can be very messy. Like, I love a hot dog, but I don't want to see a pig get freaking slaughtered.
No.
Our hunting in today's world is on my phone. We're like, oh, here comes DoorDash. All right, here comes this, right? Uber Eats. I Uber Eated something yesterday. By the way, I took the level. Belle and I were trying to figure out who had the most lazy weekend of all time.
Yeah.
Had I not tanked Charlie, so Charlie and I went on Saturday early evening to the Spirit store, which was awesome. So we went to the Spirit store. We got she got her angel outfit. She wants to be an angel, but I would say with a little bit like just a tip, a little bit of the halo, because she's like me. She's got a little in her. And so we went there. Had it not been for that, there was a good chance I got into my comfy, cozy pajamas on Friday, and I wasn't getting out till this morning. It was an extra special lazy. I couldn't, man. I was so done this week. So done. Well, you were lazy too, you said. Nothing like Bell, though. Bell fell asleep, he said, on Friday?
So, Friday morning.
Like 2 a.m.?
No, Saturday morning.
I fell asleep about 2 a.m. Saturday morning, and with the exception
of Friday going into Saturday,
I didn't get out of bed until probably 8 or 9 Sunday morning.
That's a win, kids.
That is a win,
That is
man.
an absolute win.
That's the way to go, Brother Bilal.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. And we're still trying to figure out why Bell's so tired.
Because you're exhausting.
Oh, my Lord. So that's amazing. That is a hell of a sleep.
Oh, I used to be able to do that back in my younger days.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore.
No, I can't either. It's like I told you boys. The last time I slept late, and it's been years, and I think the latest it was like 9 o'clock.
Well, having clinical depression helps.
You don't have clinical depression. You have just regular old depression. He doesn't have the clinical kind.
He's got regular old.
He's got regular old, Google diagnosed. Took one of those things where find out if you're depressed in 3 quick answers. But it was needed. I told my wife yesterday, I don't think I've seen a football game in the last 2 weeks where I started it and finished it because I fall asleep because I was so exhausted.
Yes.
So exhausted. And it was like that this weekend. I was like, I didn't even want to know.
You have an excuse, though. You work like 15 hours a day on 3 different shows, sometimes 4. So for me to say I'm tired is almost an insult to what you have to do every day.
I do work a lot.
I was getting ready to say, dude, you work all the freaking time. You and Dan Mandis, man.
Yeah.
You guys work all the freaking time.
It's funny. I told my wife, like, I got here about 10:45 today, and I ate. And I've been up since 2:15, so it was the first time I'd eaten all day.
I don't know how you do it.
And then I'll finish here, and then I'll bounce home, and I'll have to do some more stuff for video and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I've got an interview thing to do later. I just do a lot of stuff. I've always been that way. My buddy Mike Broomhead and I used to talk about this all the time. You know why we do it? Because one day they may never ask you again.
Well, there is that.
It's one of those things where I'm blessed to do what I do. And I always say this, I'm not swinging a hammer.
No, sir. I feel good about that, too.
Right? I'm not on a roof where it's 115 degrees and I got to walk up and down with 100 pounds of roofing on my back.
No, sir.
No chance.
Can't do
You're
it.
not swinging a hammer until I do something wrong and I'm getting chased down the hallway.
That's a possibility. Well, we don't go very fast. We're a very slow group moving here, kind of glacial speeds. Oh, good. I can't wait to talk about what's going on. And speaking of that, in Everest.
Man. I mean, that's just all of a sudden a blizzard.
That's what happens.
16,000 feet above sea level. Here's a blizzard.
Yeah. And by the way, 16,000 feet, that's base camp. That's hanging out camp.
That's just the hangout.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything real. You're not ascending. You're just hanging out, acclimatizing yourself towards your dream of climbing up there. So you can spend 2 minutes up there and realize, oh, my God, I may not be able to get down, and they're going to bury you there. By bury you, I mean leave you.
Yes.
They don't bring you off the mountain.
They still have bodies
littered
like from
everywhere.
Decades ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, as far back as like the 60s.
Yep. And they found sometimes it'll be a warmer spring and, oh my goodness, there's a body over here. We didn't know that.
Oh.
We've been climbing over him for years. We don't even know who that guy is. Who is that guy? Has he got anything in his pockets when I need? I don't know.
Amazing.
Plus the people that disappear into the crevices and stuff like that. There's no fixie. Even flying helicopters up there is a special to get to base camp because it's 16,000. Helicopters aren't meant to go that crazy high. So, yeah, we'll talk about that later because it is fascinating what's going on because, yeah, it's always blizzardy.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a couple people who've done Everest. We had one guy on who was blind. I was like, well, that's kind of weird that you went up there, but whatever. How was the view? Said, nobody, I'm a jerk. I'm sorry, but it was kind of funny. But he said, everybody freaks out when they get up there because it's not the getting up there, it's the coming back down that people start to get weird. Because you've done your thing, your whole focus is getting to the top. Then when you're up there, now you got to realize climbing back down. And one of the things I've been talking about, there's so many people going that the wait sometimes is 2 hours. Just people standing in line like they're at Disneyland just to go up and take their selfie and a quick pic and then turn around and come back down.
I don't get it, dude. I don't understand it.
I don't, the whole thing is supposed to be about challenging yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you see those posters. I was joking with, every one of those people that's dead up there, you know what they were doing? Challenging themselves.
Yeah. I'd rather try to do 50 push-ups in one sitting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think I could probably make it to 25 and then I'd collapse.
I'd like to try to do, a 10-hour nap. I mean, why stop there? Okay? How much can you do, Chad? How much can you do?
No, put him on the spot like that.
Yeah, but
I made it for 6.5.
You know what's funny? It's if you want to know how high Everest is, next time you're in an airplane and they're like, you're at 38,000 feet, look outside and go, wow, that's really high. That's how high Everest is, and then realize I kind of did what they were doing in Everest. There's no need for me to be outdoors. None. Zero. Just want you guys to know that.
Yeah, I don't mind being outdoors, but, put me by, a nice calm pond with a fishing pole, and that's about as dangerous as I'm going to get.
The little gun so you can shoot all them turtles?
Well, yeah, I gotta get the turtles away from my fish.
Oh, my God.
Poor little turtles. They're just trying to eat, too.
They are. They're not very fast.
Little fellas.
Just little, but you kill them anyways.
I'm going to stop doing that, man. I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, it's weird, too, because you with a shotgun, I thought, that's just overkill. They just exploded.
I'm telling you, Dad. My dad, man, he got some laser cataract surgery one time. And he called the next time I talked to him, he said, son, I was seeing frogs and turtles I've never seen before. Mom said she was trying to fish and she just kept hearing his pistol going.
Oh, see? Out there shooting it up. A lot of stuff to get to today. We'll talk a little bit about the whole Mark Sanchez thing is a trip. So
he's in real trouble now.
Yeah, he's in serious trouble.
Real. We're talking.
Yeah. He's probably not going to be back on the Saturday morning because I know on Saturday mornings he does the Fox, the game thing on, doesn't he? Yeah, I think he does.
I think he's on Fox, yes.
Yeah, but he does the football, butt fumble. He's what he's most famous for. And he is... Yeah, he's done. I mean, I saw the pictures of that guy he beat up, too. I think alcohol was involved.
Yeah. And that there might have been a suspicious of some intoxication.
I think a little bit of alcohol was involved. So much other fun stuff to get to today, including I came across this article. I had to read it like 10 times just to make sure it wasn't as obnoxious as I thought it was. And sure enough, it's as obnoxious as I thought it was. And it has to do with privilege and dress. Dressing, the way we dress. You guys are going to laugh so hard to hear this. If you miss any show, we always say shame on you. Grab all of the social media, like, subscribe, share. We're on Twitch. We're on X. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on, what else? We Rumble. We're rumbling around. And you can check me out as well at Chad Benson Show. This is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch Gold. Gold is a smart place to be. Weakening dollar. Okay. Strength that is growing when it comes to gold because countries, institution, banks are looking for a place they can put their money. And one of the great things about this, it's been around for millennia. Birch wants to help you understand why gold's important when it comes to diversification and why it's such a huge key into what so many people do, especially sophisticated investors. First thing you need to do is get the info. So you text the word Benson to 989898 now. They get you out the info kit. You take a look at it. They want to show you that you can get the physical, or you can move over an IRA, a 401k, or even some, maybe you've got yourself a situation where you got a old savings account's not really doing anything. You can get it backed by gold. It's a smart thing to do. But the first thing you have to do is get the information. So text the word Benson now to 989898. Get that info kit. They're the company I trust. They're called Birch Gold. Text the word Benson to 989898 now for Birch Gold. And so the noises we're making, pushing lots of buttons over here, getting stuff fit. Beacon Capital Management wants to talk to you about all the things that have to do with everything when it comes to your retirement. Maybe your taxes. For those of you who don't know, that the One Big Beautiful Bill, very big, has a lot of tax stuff that maybe you could utilize, whether it is writing up to $10,000 off in interest when it comes to your car loan, or maybe things like, I don't know, at a deduction, a senior deduction, if you're 65 or older, with a phase out. But you got to take advantage of it. It's not a complete elimination of taxes when it comes to your Social Security, but it's a huge win for you. On top of that, maybe you got issues when it comes to health care itself. Maybe you got issues when it comes to long-term care, trust issues, whatever. They can help you with it. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to call Beacon. They're going to give you an absolutely free, personalized financial consultation. It's not going to cost you anything, but a little bit of time. They're amazing. They're local. Go sit down and talk with them. Call 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303, or check them out online at beaconcm.com. This is a paid placement.
Drivers in Murfreesboro, we've got some road work. Only one lane is open, 24 westbound. This is between exits 81 and 84. And here in Nashville, a Metro Council member drawing controversy with a new resolution. This story and more coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A new resolution.
A new resolution.
Tomorrow is the primary, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's really the election, but it's the primary.
Yeah.
I hate to be mean, but it's a reality.
Oh, Chad.
I wonder how many people are going to show up for this. Chris and I were talking about it. It's a primary. School kids are out this, fall break in a lot of areas. The weather's not going to be great. It's a Tuesday, which, it's a Tuesday. So I wonder how many people are going to come out.
Yeah, I wonder what, I haven't seen how early voting was for that.
Jody Barrett apparently had a bit of a lead, but, I don't, again, how do you know what any of that looks like for real? Because everybody's like, my team said we're doing good, but
my team said it was great.
We're doing awesome. No reason for anybody to come out because everybody who could have voted already voted for me. Some people voted twice. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I mean,
Told her, okay, so let's see. I think this is I'm not sure what the source is on this. Okay, this is the state's website, Secretary of State's website. Total early votes cast for the 7th Congressional District Special Primary, 30,198. Republican ballots, 15,619 to Democratic ballots, 14,579.
How many for the Democrats?
It says 14,579.
So half as many. Wow. I wonder who's leading that thing. Let's see here. Well, if it comes to money raised on the Democratic side, Copeland, $334,000, $100,000 loan. Mitchell raised $202,000. Afton raised $150,000, and Dixie totaled $130,000. Dixie, oh Dixie.
Vincent Dixie.
Oh Dixie, how you doing? Van Epps. Do you think that helps him? The Trump thing, or is that going to hurt him because people are like, well, he's going to win for sure, so I'm not going out.
I find it interesting that Trump's endorsement didn't come until after early voting had ended.
Yeah, I do too.
Because Lee Reeves dropped right out.
I don't know, man. It's going to be. I think it's Van Epps and I mean, I don't know how Gino's doing, but it's Van Epps and Jody, I think.
Well, Jody's been the target of all the attack ads.
Well, he has, because he's a douchebag. That's what it says in the commercial, guys. Don't get mad at me.
Oh, they were accusing him of calling Trump a douchebag.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, Jody, if you're listening. I thought it's so hard to tell anymore. They just everybody's one big jerk.
These commercials, man.
They are. That's why, by the way, tomorrow we are going to vote on the commercials. So just want you guys, we're voting on the commercials. So let's see here. Bolsa, I don't know. Did Gino? I think it's between Barrett and Van Epps. And let's be, based on what you've just heard, 14,000 Democrats compared to what, 30, how many?
Let's see here. It was
34?
Where's my story here? Total early votes cast were 30,198. Republican ballots over 15,000. Democratic ballots over 14,000.
Okay.
That's according to the Secretary of State's website.
Okay. All right. There you go. So we're going to see. We're going to see. It's going to be.
Do we know how that compares to a regular voting session or any other special
I'm sure that's probably.
In terms of total cast votes?
I would assume that's way down because how many people know about it? It's the other thing. I can go outside right now and talk to 20 people. Chances are they don't know who their congressperson is anyway.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Plus, it's a single district, too.
It's a single district. That's the other thing. And by the way, somebody did say the female commercial did call Jody a douchebag. Oh, according to Ham. So, yeah. It's a tragic reflection of society that those campaign ads work. Says 3449. You know what? That's true right there. That is absolutely true. The fact that any of that stuff would work.
And they talk like this.
It's one of the most dangerous times in history. Brr.
He saw an old woman and wouldn't help her cross the road.
That's right. He says he
Chad.
hates America.
You might say it's catastrophic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, they're still on. Speaking of catastrophic.
Yeah. Still going.
Still going, huh? How about that? I'm sorry. Nobody cared that you guys weren't here. It's got to feel bad.
Well, I mean, they're really worried. So they went home over the weekend.
As you do. In a big situation. This is why I never trust us if a giant, huge meteor is truly coming to get us, that they'll fix it.
Right.
Because they'll argue about who gets the credit, and then they'll go home for the weekend as it hurls towards us. There you go. There you go. All right, coming up. Speaking of that, we'll talk a little bit about, we got a lot of good stories out there. Maybe some ice, baby. T Swift, by the way, we were wrong about her album. Very interesting. We'll talk about that, among other things that'll make you laugh and think. If you miss the show, shame, grab the podcast.
Shame.
Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, a Metro Council member's drawing controversy with a new resolution. Jenny Welsh calling on Metro Council to denounce what she describes as the genocide of Palestinians by Israel and the U.S. The resolution cites international human rights reports and claims over 60,000 deaths in Gaza since October 2023. This proposal will be discussed at the October 9th council meeting. That is in 3 days. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez now facing a felony battery charge after a violent encounter in downtown Indianapolis.
Police say Sanchez approached a 69-year-old truck driver in the loading dock of a downtown Indianapolis hotel. The driver told police Sanchez smelled of alcohol and his speech was slurred. Court records say Sanchez climbed into the truck and prevented the driver from calling for help before there was a fight, and Sanchez shoved the driver. Sanchez ended up pepper sprayed and stabbed multiple times after the driver told police he thought to himself, "This guy's trying to kill me."
So now that he's charged with felony battery charges, the penalty, if found guilty, carries up to 6 years in prison. Chicago officials fighting back against the increased ICE operations in the city. Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order establishing what he calls ICE-free zones.
We will use every single tool that is available to us to protect the dignity and the sanctity of our humanity. And that I'm calling on this president to leave us the freak alone.
He says the order bans ICE from any staging operation on public property, including schools, libraries, and parks in Chicago. The order follows increased clashes between ICE and protesters there in the Windy City. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Widespread scattered showers and storms develop, and then that will continue off and on through our day tomorrow. There's no severe weather risk, but we do have a higher risk of heavier downpours with any thunderstorms. Most of the mid-state ends up with around 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, though some isolated spots could get up to 3 inches.
Contours LLC, Cool Springs, Cool Springs. Get over there. See my buddy Keith. He is amazing. They're going to get you belly busted and your facial. What? Yeah, wait till you hear about this. First of all, you sign up for the Belly Buster. So you're going to lose 2 inches across your chest and your belly on your first go, or you don't pay anything. All right? It is amazing. It is incredible. I do it. Dan has done it. My wife has done it. It is awesome. Secondly, when you go in there and you get the Belly Buster deal, they're going to give you full med spa facial. This is not one of those cheap ones where you go in on your weekend. It's the bachelorette party. No. We're talking about $1,500 super do FDA awesome facial. $1,500 value. You get it for free just for signing up for the Belly Buster. You're going to feel thinner. You're going to look younger. It is amazing. And speaking of feeling and look, I'm in a shirt today that I had trouble getting into last year. Guess what? Not anymore. Thank you very much. Contours. Sign up today. It is awesome. Again, 2 inches off your chest and your belly, guaranteed on your first trip. You're going to go in there. You're going to feel the difference in an amazing way. It is awesome. 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, or visit contoursllc.com to schedule. What do you got to lose but inches and wrinkles? Da-da-da-da-da-da. By the way, people are asking, Ken, did you say it's an ice-free zone or an ice cream-free zone?
Ice-free zone is what they say.
Ice-free, not cream. We don't stand for that in this country. There's no such thing as an ice cream-free zone, okay? God, it's people. I can't believe you people. So, skydiving? No. That's all I got to say to that. This guy? Not so much. This guy went this weekend. He's like, I'm going to try this.
Gentleman was parachuting, first jump, said it was going to be his last, got hung up in the tree.
Horror in Nashville. One man is dead and another caught in a tree after their jump took a traumatic turn. Nashville Fire rescued the man from that tree, but the instructor who was harnessed to his student in the air somehow got disconnected and fell to his death.
That's not good. The tumbling to the ground for God knows how long, knowing that you're going to hit the ground, has to be terrifying. And I'm sure you're trying to think, well, okay, if I tuck and roll or whatever, I don't know what you're trying to think at this moment in time. Do I hit some trees? Is there water? I mean, I'm sure everything's going through your mind. Is there a pool in somebody's backyard I could land into? You know, that's terrifying. But the dude, this was your first jump. Guy's like, it was his first and his last. He told me that. He was in the tree for like an hour.
Wow.
That is, it's not, first of all, you do know what you're doing, right? The plane is good, but you're choosing to leave the plane early. That's something right there where you're going, oh, yeah. There's some things now. You know, I'll dive with a great white shark before I'll jump out of an airplane. What would you do, Ken? What would be your thing if you're forced to do something just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. But you know what? Because we've already ruled out Everest, guys, so don't even think about it.
If I'm forced to do something.
Yeah.
All right. Eat Reese's peanut butter cups without dipping them in peanut butter.
Oh.
I'll do that.
Danger.
I'll do that.
Danger.
But I'm not going any further.
I didn't say suicide, man. I said, what would you do? That's certain death right there.
I have no idea, man. There's a lot I'm a fraidy cat over.
Yeah, I'm just, plus I think as you get a little bit older, when you're younger, you still think, I'm fine. My reflexes are quick.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, I worry when I jump out of bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a good chance you could twist my ankle here.
I'm afraid I'm going to trip and fall walking to my car.
Yeah, see? Man, when you... For some of you who are younger, you'll get this later on, but let us tell you something. It is, when you get older and you haven't ridden a bike for like 15 or 20 years, you get on a bike, you think, sweet mother of God, if I fall over, I'm staying fault. Right?
I'll never, and this has been like 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago. I'll never forget, my wife decided she was going to ride a skateboard.
Oh.
And I said, you shouldn't do that. She goes, oh, I'll be fine. Sure enough, she falls off the skateboard, and we're headed to the emergency room for a chipped elbow.
Oh.
And I said, I told you not to do that.
Yeah, you do.
That didn't go over very well.
No, but you don't. You don't do that at all. That's insane.
No. When you're in your 40s.
Yeah. Okay, if you're Tony Hawk and this is what you've been on a skateboard every day since you were like 4.
Yeah.
Okay. But even now, Tony talks about his falls aren't the same as they used to be.
No. They are not.
No. I mean, so and I've got buddies who've jumped out of airplanes. They thought it was funny and, it was great. I was like, no chance. But then the same thing. They said, dude, I know you would go swim with sharks, and there's no way I'd get near a shark. And I'm like, I have no problem with that. It's got to be clear ocean. I don't want it in the dark, it's got to be clear. Like that. It's got to be super, that way I can my cat-like reflexes. Just in case I have to karate chop them. Oh,
karate.
Oh, karate. Oh, here we go. Somebody said, I decided to get on my son's scooter at 43. That was a mistake. Yeah.
Yes.
It was. Kick, flip, tried on a skateboard, hit me where it counts. Yeah. Yeah. So my daughter has a scooter. And speaking of skateboard, I've got a skateboard in my new studio. So, because my kids, they stayed there for the summer. They used it as their crash pad.
Yeah.
And then they had a skateboard. It was my son. He bought one out here and he left it. And every day I open it up and I look in there and I thought, nope. No chance. No way would I get on that. But my daughter has this little scooter, and we'll go up to the roof and I'll practice pickleball and stuff. And it's got one of those ramps you can go up and down. That's its parking garage. And she will ride down it. One day I got on it halfway there. I took 3 little zzz and I jumped off of it because I thought, I'm dying. I'm going to go right over into the patios down below because I'm never going to be able to stop.
Yeah. That don't do that, Brother Chad.
No. Chance.
I remember going ice skating about 4 or 5 years ago. Mind you, I would have been 52, 53. And falling down really hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt. I don't know what it is, man. It's like in my 50s, I can't fall like I used to whenever I was younger. And now it seems like if I start falling, there's no way to slow it down.
No.
You just boom.
And you don't have the reflexes where you can like land in a certain way and brace yourself.
Yeah.
You're falling and it's going to hurt and you know it and you're thinking, just don't break your hip, right? You're too old to be put down.
Yeah.
I mean, too young to be put down. It's weird, you know? It's like it's an odd thing because you think back to when you were young, you'd ride your bike everywhere, you'd jump off things.
Fall all the time.
All the time. You'd do things that you were just like, and there's just no way. No way. And the ice skating thing, man, I don't know why they let anybody over the age of 35 on ice skates that haven't been skating their entire life.
Man.
They should make you sign 25 forms, right? Like, here comes Nancy. Well, when I see these people riding their damn scooters out here on vacation.
Yeah.
Dude, you haven't been on a scooter ever, by the way, ever.
Yeah.
And now you're on one that goes 25 miles an hour and you decided to put your wife in front.
Right. And you're not wearing a helmet.
No. And you've had a few drinks.
Just a couple.
It is fascinating to me to watch, like Friday or Saturday night. So I took Charlie, we go to, I don't know what was going on downtown Saturday. I had no idea. But so we go to the, we go to the spirit store, and on the way back, I'm like, well, we'll get dinner. So we won't take the freeway home. And then all of a sudden we go and it's rerouted us. We had to go through downtown. It was insane, right? We go from it was an hour and a half to get home and a 12-minute drive. But there were people riding scooters, and you guys know how nice our roads are. I saw 2 or 3 people eat it. And the other thing is they get on these scooters, they're on vacation. You know what? They don't. They're rules of the road. No, I'm on a scooter. I'm on vacation. So just move over. That was my big fear. I was like, I'm going to run one of these people over.
Yes.
Right? And then you're coming up and you're like, I've got to make a right. I've passed those guys, but they're coming up. Now I'm going to have to slow down, or can I get in front of them? Are they going to crash into me? Because I'm not sure they could stop, because I've seen one of them stop where they just kind of jump both feet off.
Yeah.
This is just, it is scary. It is. And as you get older, like you said, I don't get it. And there's sure no way I'm going, like if you're 95 and you want to go jump out of an airplane, go ahead.
Yeah, what do you got to lose?
That's it. Right? Maybe the best way to go.
It's like in, I think, one of the versions of Grumpy Old Men, Burgess Meredith's character decided to smoke a cigarette, and one of his sons says, "You really shouldn't do that, Dad." And he says, "I'm 95 years old. What do I care?"
That's exactly it. Oh. Somebody said, after 30, we no longer bounce. We don't.
That's a good point.
We don't. Sally said, I sneezed and pulled 2 muscles. Oh, I've been there. Man, I've thrown my back out sneezing.
I worked with a dude who he had to take a week off for sneezing. and like cracked one of his ribs or something
Oh, my God.
for sneezing.
That is insane.
They
That is
start off as
crazy.
bouncy balls and then turn into marbles.
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty much it, man.
I mean, it's crazy. So when I heard this guy this weekend, and imagine going to your backyard and you hear a thud. You're like, what's going on out there? And you go out there and, well, you found out what's going on. I mean, that's awful. You'd think they'd wear one of those suits, right? One of those wing suits. So if it doesn't go right, they can cut you loose and didn't do the wing thing.
yeah.
You'd think.
So is what happened here, did the instructor somehow come detached from the student?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So and I don't know if there was an issue where the instructor decided, okay, we both can't land or it's out of control, so I need to cut myself loose
Oh, man.
to save this guy, which I wouldn't have done. So I'm like, we're gonna crash and it's gonna suck, but we're probably gonna live.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, because you're not living.
No, you're not living like that. There's been very few people in history that have fallen and lived. Very few. And you've got to be in the right situation. But goodness me, that the whole thought of somebody crashing in your backyard or something like that and they had to look for him for hours. That's why we say, guys, take naps. It's really good for you. You're going to live a lot longer. But then again, you know what? This is why men die early.
That's true.
We do stupid things.
Yep.
We do. We do. There's no doubt about that. We do dumb things. Jason said, I have had to have back surgery because of vacuuming. Oh, I'm sure it's out there. Oh, my goodness me. Somebody said I got cramps during whoopee, making whoopee.
Cramps.
Said, my leg, my calf. When you get older. Oh, God. Oh, we've all been there.
Oh,
Oh, getting old ain't for the young or the weak.
I pulled a muscle reaching for a coffee cup.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, actually, I pulled a fat.
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulled
See,
pulled a fat in my back.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, it's the whole nap. I mean, I love naps, but there are times I wake up and like, what's wrong with my shoulder? I can't move it. I slept too long. Isn't that weird? It's like I slept too long. My nap was too good. I hurt myself.
It was too good.
Oh, my Lord.
It was so good, it's bad.
We are getting too damn old. Coming up, Mount Everest. Speaking of things to not do, talk about that among other things. A lot of other stuff to get to as well today. Still going to talk about ice in Chicago and the battle that's going to go on there because that's going to get uglier before it gets better. And, besides the crazy chaos of the National Guard and this stuff that's always hanging over the fight with Trump, the economy, stupid, is still something that people need to be paying attention to. So we're going to talk about that as well. If you're missing the show, share me to grab the podcast, Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 997. Prize Picks is awesome. Let me tell you about Prize Picks. First of all, you need to set a lineup. And let me tell you how you set a lineup. It's simple and easy to do. It is 2 or more players. It's that simple. Okay? So, and it's always about more or less. Do you think this person, say tonight, Patrick Mahomes, will rush for more than 62 and a half yards? Or will Etienne, score more than 1 touchdown for the other team? There's a lineup right there. That's it. It's 2 or more or less. You're not picking anything other than player stat projections, and sports, so you're going to like it. So this is what I want you to do. Download the app. Use code CHAD. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CHAD. You're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It is that simple. And remember, you can play up to 6. You can win up to 2,000 times your money. You're picking more or less. It is simple and easy to do. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be 21 in Tennessee. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-889-9789. All right, guys. Busy Bee. Spooky season. So the experts at Busy Bee want to haunt away any of the scares that come with HVAC and plumbing problems. Thank you, Busy Bee. So this is what they want you to do. First and foremost, how about this? Busy Bee wants to give you a little treat for free. All you have to do is carve a pumpkin of Buzz the Bee, post it on social media, tag Busy Bee, show off your spooky sills, and they're going to get you a Beehive Club membership. But here's the great thing. All the cool stuff that's going on right now. Free dryer vent cleaning going on if you have any HVAC service. If you're going to upgrade your thermostat, you can do any of this stuff. You're going to get free dryer vent cleaning. And they've got basic stuff like, Honeywell Go Pro with Wi-Fi control, plumbing problems. They're going to do everything you could think of and then some. Treat you right. Free. Are you ready for this? Water heater flush with any plumbing repair, right? So that's treating your pipes with a little bit of treat and love. And if you're ready for a new HVAC system, free 10-year parts and 5-year labor warranty, $750 value with complete system install. So don't get haunted with home hassles. Call Busy Bee today, where service is sweet and savings are spooky good. Busy Bee, plumbing, heating, and cooling, 775-7833, 775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
All right, drivers in Smyrna want to give you a heads up. They have closed Sam Ridley Parkway between G Street and Weekly Lane until 4:30 today for some road work. And ex-quarterback Mark Sanchez may be headed from the broadcast booth to behind bars. More serious charges filed. We'll tell you about it at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We've started something here, Ken. This may be my favorite one of the day.
All right.
Chad just had surgery Wednesday, bent down to move a rock while mowing the lawn, and pop, tore meniscus in 2 places.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Oh, my Lord. That is...
It's weird, man. I mean, it's like that guy I worked with that cracked his ribs sneezing.
Yeah.
At first, everybody thought he was just trying to get out of work. But no.
That is...
He cracked a... I don't know if it was cracked or if, like, he dislodged a rib.
Oh, whatever it is, it's not good.
It wasn't good.
I'm a violent sneezer, but I only sneeze once. Some people, they come in threes, right?
Yes.
Like celebrity deaths and stuff like that. I only sneeze once. But it's violent. It's all coming at once. It's the kind of crack, 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 crack. Oh, my back. Oh, my back. And it's crazy. But, yeah, a lot of people are chiming in on their injuries that they've had. And there's a lot of people out there that have had some injuries just from doing nothing. It is. I mean, somebody said I did a watermelon off the high dive to impress my teenage daughter. That was a bad idea. All of my internal organs lost their mooring.
Man, there's so many videos on TikTok where people are just walking out the front door to go to their car and they just trip down the front steps.
That's it.
Just boop.
And
some of them are hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell.
Yeah. I mean, because as you get older,
You just don't fall right.
no, and dogs, man, dogs will crush you. You got those dogs that you think, oh, it's German. It's not a German Shepherd. It's a Labrador, and it takes off running, and you're holding on, and it just dislocates your shoulder, drags you down the stairs. Right? What happened to Mom? Oh, she fell. Oh, what happened? Their dog Ethel took off, and you're screwed. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, that ice skating I did, man. After about the 4th time I fell, I was like, all right. I can't do this.
Yeah, you paid to be hurt.
I did.
Think about that.
And I couldn't go very fast anyway because it was crowded. and I was falling and it hurt. And I thought, enough of this. I'm gonna get me a hot toddy or something and watch everybody else ice skate.
My wife broke her foot walking through the backyard picking up dog poop.
Yep, that can happen.
Bent over to put my boot on, pulled my back out 3 days. I cracked 2 ribs sneezing. Somebody said they broke their foot walking down the porch. Oh.
See there, RJ? Look what you got to look forward to, man.
Yeah, boy. This is what you got, kids. It's all happening as you get older. It's not for the weak. Coming up, hour number 2 of the program on this Monday. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. I can tell you we're in for some rain. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez has been charged with felony battery after that violent parking dispute in Indianapolis.
According to the probable cause affidavit, after Sanchez allegedly shoved the driver believed he was now in physical danger, grabbed his pepper spray, and sprayed Mr. Sanchez in the face. The affidavit says Sanchez again advanced towards the driver, saying the driver thought, "This guy's trying to kill me." So he pulled his knife, and when Mr. Sanchez came at him, ultimately striking him multiple times. Police say when a detective tried to get a statement from Sanchez at the hospital, Mr. Sanchez said he did not know who did this to him or where it happened.
Now, police say Sanchez attacked a 69-year-old truck driver, and the truck driver stabbed him in self-defense. Sanchez now charged with felony battery. Right now in Nashville, a recall petition's been filed against Metro Council member Roland Horton. People not happy following his push to rezone parts of the nation's neighborhood for high-density housing. This petition submitted last week. Horton defending the plan, saying it promotes walkability, affordable housing, and tree preservation. Claims it was shaped by 2 years of community input, but opponents argue the process lacked transparency and proper outreach. Petitioners now have 30 days to gather enough signatures to trigger a special election. We'll be watching that. Hundreds of hikers on Mount Everest had to be rescued after a rare off-season blizzard engulfed the area. We get more from ABC's Britt Clennett, who says rescue operations are far from over.
Usually this time of year around Everest, it's relatively calm and clear. But for these guys, this unexpected blizzard happened, trapping hundreds of them. 350 have been rescued, 200 still trapped. But authorities have made contact. So we do know that there is an effort underway.
So far, no deaths reported. U.S. Supreme Court started its session today. The new term could be a test to see if the justices decide to limit President Trump's presidential power as cases about tariffs and the firing of federal employees are on the docket. We get more from ABC's Devin Dwyer, who says cases regarding LGBTQ issues will also be heard.
With the nation sharply divided, the justices will again wade into the culture wars, deciding this term whether states can ban transgender athletes from school sports and whether state bans on so-called conversion therapy for LGBTQ teens violates a counselor's free speech.
Traditional staple of the American dinner table's never been more expensive. ABC's Jim Ryan says beef prices have shot up over 14% in the past year.
At 86.6 million head, the U.S. cattle herd is at its smallest since 1951. Drought in cattle-producing states gets part of the blame. So do tariffs imposed on imported beef. And then there's the New World screwworm, which has infected cattle in Mexico, crimping the supply of beef from that country.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
All right, just double checked. Government's still shut down. I had to double check that.
Maybe a vote today, Brother Chad.
Yeah. Has anybody got any internal polling that says, hey, you guys are sucking more than the other side?
Haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I don't really see any of the. And everybody's blaming everybody. It's the Schumer shutdown. No, it's the Democrats that are doing it. It's this, it's that. Everybody's blaming everybody else. How about just do your job? It's not that hard. Show up, do your job, pass some bills.
Now you're just being unreasonable.
I know. That was silly. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, You're right. You're right. Don't do your job. It is so frustrating. And they're fighting over. Look, if I'm the Democrats, said it last week, Trump wants this. He wants to get rid of all the subsidies. He wants to get rid of all of these things. Great. Get rid of them all. It's either going to work or it's not. And if you're able to keep them, chances are those people that keep their health insurance aren't going to vote against it. Well, we could hurt people. No, and if it works, then you're screwed. So it doesn't really matter. And by the way, neither of you at this point really deserve a lot. We need a strong third party, baby. Strong third party. By the way, so I have found out more about Mark Sanchez. My buddy sent me some stuff because he's out there in Indy. By the way, I walked by a couple of years ago when the Super Bowl was in Phoenix. We had to go downtown and get our media passes because we were going to be on the floor, broadcasting for the whole week. So I was walking back after getting mine, and he and Brady Quinn walked by me. They're ginormous. Like, Mark's like 240, and he's about 6'2", 6'3". So he apparently was staggering around in like an alleyway, ran into this guy. The guy didn't have his hearing aids in, so he let Mark come closer. And he said the dude he could tell he'd smell of you guys know Mark Sanchez's famous jet for the butt fumble. He smelled of alcohol, and he said out of nowhere, he picks him up and he slams him against the wall and starts beating on him. And the pictures of the guy, he's in a neck brace, but it looks like Mark stabbed him too, because his face is cut almost from his temple down to his mouth.
He's going to be writing a big check before all is said and done.
Yeah.
He may be doing it from behind bars, too.
It is ugly. It is. And remember, we were just talking about being old. This guy's 69. He's not old enough to be dead, but he didn't deserve that from a guy who's in his late 30s.
Yeah, when that gets into court, that is not going to play well with the jury.
No, it is not. Because you're 34 years younger than him, or whatever it is, 30 years younger. I'm not quite sure he is. And you thumped him. It is brutal what you did to him.
It sounds like it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So the guy has hearing aids, and he's one of those grease. He goes and he empties all the grease traps. It says, so the machine was loud. He couldn't hear. And he goes, and Mark was already stumbling. When he goes, I didn't have my hearing aids. I went close to him, and I could smell the alcohol even before he got near me. And then it went sideways. Just out of nowhere. He said he attacked him. Like you said, I think he could do some serious, he might do some time on this one. That is a beating, no doubt about that. And what do we always tell you guys? There are cameras everywhere. Know this. There are cameras everywhere.
The Diddy verdict came in after we were off the air last Friday.
He got 4 years. Okay, here's a question for everybody out there. Who gets a pardon first, or who gets their sentence commuted? Ghislaine or Diddy? Because they denied her case today. The Supreme Court did. So Ghislaine
I don't think he can afford to do anything with Ghislaine, because that just makes the whole Epstein thing come back to life.
Yeah, that's what I think so too. And I think Diddy's got to be asking. He's going to be asking questions like, "How do I do? What do I do for diss? How do I do a diss track, Diddy? What do I have to do? Could we do a diss track? Let's talk about it. What kind of diss track do you want me to do? I'll lay down some fat lingo.
I just need you to make a beat for me.
It'll be great. You guys are going to love it. Yeah, that Biggie guy, he's not around, right? His name's free. Let's use some of his name. This Tupac Shaker fellow, I heard he was popular.
Shaker.
Did you see where Shakur's mother just died in Cuba as a fugitive?
Yeah, she killed a cop.
I found that out.
Yeah, it was
when
a
I was reading
god
the
mom.
article.
So she killed a cop, and people praised her. That was the other thing. If you guys didn't know anything, so she was she was a famous, activist, revolutionary. She killed a cop. She was convicted of it, and she escaped. And then she got to Cuba, and she was treated like a hero there. And so she passed away, and I saw several outlets were like praising her as this revolutionary. But even Democrats were coming out going, yeah, she's not a revolutionary. She's a cop killer.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. People are nuts. Man, people are crazy. Serious. I watch the news and I think, oh, God, stay indoors more. That's it. Even Charlie said that this weekend. So we're out driving around and we got stuck in all this traffic. And I had no idea what's going on. Because you know where the mission is, or the rescue mission?
Yeah.
So it routed us from there. And we had, instead of just doing the quick roundabout and then heading down to Broadway, pushed us all the way down. We went down to all the way to the stadium and had to cut all the way left, go past everything to get back onto, get down to Rosa Parks just to get to the house. Because everything was shut off. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And Charlie said, this is why we don't go outside, Dad. This is why we have fun just being potatoes. Nice.
Raising her well.
That's it. Setting records, baby. Setting records. But I think the chances of him giving Diddy a pass of some sort, whether it's a commutation or I think that's plausible. The Ghislaine thing, I think it's just, although Trump is Trump, man, he'll do whatever he wants.
Dude, if he does that, that video of Diddy kicking that poor girl in the hall, I'm telling you, that will be on every ad leading up to the midterms.
Yeah. But
that would not be a good idea.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't. I mean, either of them's not going to be a good way. But, over the last several weeks, people have been paying attention. Go look at all of the people he's pardoned. He pardoned a couple guys 4 weeks ago, that owed hundreds of millions of dollars in restitution from money they stole from people. And they got pardons. And they don't have to pay the money back. Think of full pardons with there is, the whole pardon thing is kind of skeezy. And it all really started with Mark Rich way back in the day with Clinton on the last day. And it's just, since then, it's just been nothing but skis. Oh, but you're right, man. Because you could think about Diddy if it was just the prostitution stuff. Like it or not, let's be real. Trump. But the whole beating her, Cassie, and then dragging her.
Yeah, Cassie Ventura.
It's like we talked about with the football player for Baltimore, right? The guy that Ray Rice?
Ray, I think so,
yes. Yeah, he got a 2-game suspension.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Wright. Ray Lewis was the great linebacker.
Oh, okay, Ray Rice.
Yeah, so he got a 2-game suspension, and nobody saw anything. The video leaked on TMZ of him beating his girlfriend, knocked her unconscious in the elevator, and then dragged her like caveman style by her hair through the parking lot. Dude never played a down of football again.
No, he's done.
Yeah.
I think, Diddy was convicted of prostitution across state lines.
Right.
Yeah. And when the judge was sentencing him, he was talking about his violent acts and, what you did to this woman and what you did to that woman. He wasn't convicted of any of that.
Yeah, he wasn't convicted. And they said it was really weird too, because remember, they showed the video in the trial, but they told them, this has nothing to do with the trial. We're just trying to show you this is the kind of person he is and how the power of his money and his fame that he would use, how he was able to shut people up. And he wasn't convicted. He was never on trial for the beating or any of that stuff.
But the judge used that as justification for the sentence.
Yeah.
And that could come back to haunt the prosecution.
That could. I mean, I'm surprised he got 4 years. We were both wrong.
What did I say? 6 to 9 or 5 to 8?
I said 6. So if he probably could get out next year, but I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it'll probably be 2 years, even with time off for good behavior. And he's already served 14 months, so that's going to go against it.
So 14 months, that takes him down to, well, so we got 48 months, right? So he's down to what, 36 months? Yeah, probably another year and a half, maybe 2. But, you know, and this also depends on what if he gets in some sort of, because a lot of times they'll expedite. They'll give you, for every good day of behavior, they'll give you 2 days. So if you don't get any trouble, 1 day may equal 2, and that could ramp it up. But they're already saying they're working behind the scenes trying to get, Trump to, probably talking to the kids, because that's what you do. So, Jeff, let's not forget Ray Lewis killed. So he didn't kill somebody at a strip club. He was accused of killing somebody. So, yeah, Reagan pardoned some people. They all have done it. They've all pardoned people where... So would I be
Reagan
surprised?
Pardon people involved with Iran-Contra?
Yeah, I think they did. Didn't he pardon, what's his name? Oh, God, what was his name?
North?
Yeah.
Did he pardon
Ollie?
Oliver North?
I think he did. Man, we are so skeezy at times, our country. We are. We're like, so we're dealing...
People gave all that crap to Biden for pardoning Hunter at the last minute. It's like... Okay, yeah, I can look at that and go, that's an issue, but it's not the first time it's happened.
No. By the way, I said this and I'll say it again. It's your kid, all right? It's your kid. So I think that Biden, I said this for years, Biden should have pardoned Trump. And it's funny because I was reading an article the other day that Mitt Romney and several people, even prominent Democrats, were telling Biden, you need to pardon Trump and get over this. You need to pardon and move on. Otherwise, this is going to be a nightmare. And the fear is that it was going to become, lawfare, which it's kind of become. So, and I would have said this. If I was Trump, I would have pardoned Hunter and them the first thing I would have done inside of my presidency, just to get it over with and move on. Kind of like what Ford did with Nixon. We need to move on. We're done. Let's move on with it. So...
But that's actually pretty much what cost Ford the election, too.
And the fact that he's just crazy.
He was not. He was not.
He was an interesting character. He was an interesting character.
But he made history as the only administration whose vice president and president were never elected.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. Because they were going through him fast. They were going through him super. It's like they were going through him as fast as the French are going through another prime minister. Did you see that today?
Or the Russians going through troops?
Yeah. So the prime minister of France, because we joke about this all the time, this is the 5th one in what, a year? He comes out and he says, we've got a coalition government. And then within like 20 minutes, he resigns because everybody's mad at him. It's such good luck there. Oh, my Lord. Good luck. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in Chicago. The chaos, the craziness, Trump and the battle of, National Guard, the over ridiculous way that both sides act. And it's a meme culture now. And that's unfortunate where things aren't getting done the way they should be because of memes. Talk a little bit about that, among other things. You missed the show? Shame. Grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. All right, relief factor. Let me tell you something. We're just talking about the aches and pains. I don't really worry about that anymore because I take my relief factor every day. It's amazing. It is incredible. It's natural. You can take it every single day. And for less than a cup of coffee, you will love this stuff. I work out. Woke up this morning, did a workout. I built this little workout area inside of my new studio at home. So I'll go and I'll work out for about 20 minutes. And then I'll go play some pickleball later because I'm getting ready for tournaments. And I don't worry about the aches and pains that I normally would. I mean, you guys, we were just talking about it. We joke about it, but you work out, and then 3 days later, you're like, I still can't do anything because of my workout. You don't want to be that way. That's what this does for you. Relief Factor is amazing. It's going to take away those aches and pains, your joints, especially your muscles, from overexertion or just getting a little bit older. We know what those are like. You take it every single day. It's not addictive. And for less than a cup of coffee, you can get yourself feeling better, healthier than you felt in a long time. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com to get your Relief Factor. It's $19.95 for a 3-week quick start, less than a cup of coffee a day. Or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Chicago Police Department Superintendent Larry Snelling with a message to ICE protesters in his city. I'll let you hear what he says coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm very excited to be doing the Super Bowl, and I know that people all around the world who love my music are also happy, especialmente todos los latinos. Y las latinas en el mundo entero y aquí en los Estados Unidos, todas las personas que han trabajado para abrir.
That is Bad Bunny. He speaks Spanish. Portion of this talking about the great things that they have done and how excited he is for the Latino and the Latinas, and that they shouldn't be worried and scared, etc., etc. Goes on. My Spanish isn't as good as it used to be.
De todo. Demostrando que nuestra huella y nuestra aportación en este país nadie nunca la podrá sacar ni borrar. And if you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn. We have a great show for you tonight.
Why wasn't he saying Latinx?
Because nobody says that, but people in California, Latinx. Do you remember when Gavin Newsom said, I've never used that? And then they played it 1,000 times when he used it. Latinx.
He had it in tweets and everything.
That was just so ridiculous. Latinx, Latinx, Latinx. So ridiculous. I'm sure that should piss some of you guys off. I watched a little bit of some of the highlights of Saturday Night Live because, first of all, it's on way too late for me. I don't know about you guys, but 9:30? What happens after 9:30? I have no idea. I don't know. But it is what it was. I mean, you know, it's Saturday Night Live. And he's Bad Bunny. He's going to perform. Everybody get over it. I don't watch it for that. I watch it for the game. I don't even watch you know what's bumming about the commercials now? I don't know if you've done this too. Maybe, Ken, you guys have seen this. The fact is the commercials, they now preview them like a week or two before they come out.
There's nothing special about the commercial by the time you get to the Super Bowl.
No.
You've seen it.
No. And that bums me out. Like, that was part of the fun. So, it is what it is. They had some Trump fun.
I'm just here keeping my eye on SNL, making sure they don't do anything too mean about me. And they better be careful because I know late night TV like the back of my hand.
Like the back of my hand.
Who does Trump?
Oh, I don't know. This guy, I don't even remember seeing him outside of doing Trump.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah. So, and he made fun of the FCC. They're watching you. They played that song while he was out there. It was, that's it. That's all I saw of it. That's all I needed to see. Because I don't watch regular television. If it's not a sporting event, I'm probably not watching it. But it was the Bad Bunny thing because it just angers people. I'm like, this is what you guys need to do. Don't pay attention to it. You give it more fuel.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah. I don't know who the guy is. I know he's huge, but I don't know who he is, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if he does play the Super Bowl. I just don't care.
Yeah, I watch the game, and then I go get snacks. That's what halftime's for. It's 30 minutes. It's 15 minutes to set up, 15 minutes for them to do something, 10 minutes to tear it down. By then, the guys could have showered and gone home because they're in there so long, and I move on.
It's a good bet I'll fall asleep at halftime.
Yeah, that's what it's for. Take a nap to get excited for the second half. Especially with those Titans and their major comeback. Wait, what? No, I'm just kidding.
Apparently, the fallout between NFL and Taylor Swift was over the fact that she would not give them licensing rights to the performance.
Oh,
they wanted partial. They wanted ownership of it. And she was like, "No, you ain't getting that."
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't have that. She will never do that again. Especially after, what was that guy's name? Dr. Luke?
No, it's Scooter Braun.
Scooter Braun. Dr. Luke is the other guy with
Kesha.
Kesha. Different white chick, same problem. That's all I know. You white chicks. You white chicks. So crazy. The white chicks. Somebody said, you do realize that Trump never censored anyone. FCC. You do realize that was Saturday Night Live. It was a joke. Okay? Just want to point that out. That was a joke. Saturday Night Live. You didn't have to like it. Didn't have to watch. I didn't watch. Normally, I watch only the Weekend Update. Only because I like it when they trade jokes. And Jost has to do a joke that's racist. And Michael Che.
That Che wrote.
Yeah. And then Che has to do a joke that's racist. Or Che does a joke that is horrible about his wife,
Scarlett Johansson.
Which makes me laugh.
Makes Colin say it.
Yeah. Which makes me laugh. It's a funny thing. All right, coming up. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in Chicago. The whole thing with this. Here's the thing with Trump. Like everything else, the more you fight it, the more he's going to engage. Right? It's like anything. Don't give it power. If he wants to do this, you know what? Talk about how you're going to resist. But I go back to this, Democrats, and we'll talk about it. This is a you problem that you created. This is a huge problem that you were a part of. And now your states, in particular, your left-leaning states and cities are trying to figure out how to stop this. And they're not doing a good job at it at all. Let's talk a little bit about that, among other things. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. I can tell you we're in for a couple of days of rain here. Also, drivers got a disabled vehicle right now blocking the right lane. It's going to be 40 westbound after Fessler's Lane, and a crash just north of downtown, 65 southbound after Trinity Lane. Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling is addressing his city in a press conference right now. He's got a message to ICE protesters.
Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger.
Snelling says when that happens, it is reasonable for ICE officers to believe they're under ambush, and the consequences can be deadly. Comes after increased clashes between ICE and Chicago residents as part of the immigration crackdown there in the Windy City. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez has been charged with felony battery after that violent parking dispute in Indianapolis. Prosecutors say Sanchez attacked a 69-year-old truck driver who then stabbed Sanchez in self-defense. Sanchez was in town for a football broadcast but didn't appear on air. He's out on bond and due in court tomorrow. Hundreds of hikers on Mount Everest had to be rescued after a rare off-season blizzard engulfed the area. ABC's Britt Clinette has the details on what one hiker told ABC News after she was able to get off the mountain.
She became one of the members who was trapped by the blizzard. She did get off the mountain safely, but she told ABC News that, the heavy snowstorm, it started on the night of October 4th. She said the snow was so heavy that the thunder and lightning made it terrifying, she said. She said on the morning of the 5th, the snow was more than 3 feet deep, already up to her thighs. She said she barely slept for the whole night.
350 people were trapped when conditions deteriorated on the mountain, and according to local officials, at least 200 are still stranded. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Widespread scattered showers and storms develop, and then that will continue off and on through our day tomorrow. There's no severe weather risk, but we do have a higher risk of heavier downpours with any thunderstorms. Most of the mid-state ends up with around 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, though some isolated spots could get up to 3 inches.
$12. What can you get for $12? How about this? Get your life back, get your back back with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Check out paintisbad.com or call 615-246-5009. It is great to know that no matter how hard I work out, no matter what I do, my back hurts, shoulder hurts, whatever it is, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley are incredible, and they're going to make sure that I'm back to feeling great. So for $12 right now, the Big Daddy Trump special, comprehensive exam, x-rays if needed. They're going to explain the diagnosis, first treatment, bring your MRI if you have it. There's no surgery, no spinal injections, no painkillers. It's about the state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression, as well as their brilliance, their understanding, their know-how to get you feeling better than before. So you have thought in your life, I can't do it, Chad, right? I've tried everything else. Let me tell you something. If you thought it's not possible, it is absolutely possible to get yourself feeling better than before and getting your back back. The Wellness Institute of Nashville will show you. Go to paintisbad.com. That's paintisbad.com or call 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009 for the Big Daddy Trump special. Just $12. Get yourself feeling better with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. By the way, the Saturday Night Live guy that does Trump is from here, Austin Johnson.
What's his name?
Austin Johnson?
Man, if in a million years, I would have never been able to tell you his name.
I could have swore, if I'm right, I think he might have been a comic, but I think the big claim to fame is he did Trump online a whole bunch. Like he would it's me, it's Trump, and he would do that. And I think that may be how they got him. Because I can't even remember ever seeing him in anything else. And by the way, what's his name? Colin Jost did do something besides just the update, the weekend update. He played Pete Hegseth.
Oh, that's funny.
Which was funny. I forgot about that.
You probably went into work that week. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't in my contract.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to do anything. Che and I are supposed to hang out and then Wednesday start writing some funny jokes about mindless, stupid stuff. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Tomorrow is the primary. We're going over earlier. We have about 30,000 votes in so far, according to Ken and his math.
That was according to the Secretary of State's website.
That's your math. Dude, take credit for your math, dude. I'm trying to help you out.
No, because I don't want to set that precedent.
Yeah, it's probably wrong.
It might
anyways.
come back on me.
And then the other, 14,000 for the Democrats. Right around there.
Yeah, 15,000 Republican ballots cast, 14,000 Democrat, roughly.
So there you go. Who's going to win? I don't know. I mean, when I was talking to Chris earlier, he said that Jody had a lead in the mail-in, in the early voting or whatever it was. I have no idea. Tomorrow, this is all about turnout tomorrow because you've got, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow, Ken? Because that's going to be a big deal.
They're going to have some showers. Going to be a chance for some rain. Oh, better look out. I hope they treat the roads.
Ooh, it's not that cold. Although I was telling Ken, I'm flipping around, watching football. There's the Montana or Wyoming, the Cowboys were playing or somebody, and it was, and I'm like, is that snow on the ground already in October?
Absolutely.
Already, snow in Wyoming. And we're gonna have a winter. I have a feeling.
No, we're not.
No,
I'm just gonna wish it away.
Wish it away
into the cornfield like that little fella on Twilight Zone. So here we go. Tuesday, voters, 90% chance of showers and possibly a thunderstorm. Most likely between 1 and 2 p.m.
Ooh, that's big voting time. It's about turnout. I was joking. We were off air, Chris and I. It's like, this thing could be settled by 5 people that show up.
That's really not that far from an exaggeration.
No, because it's not going to be a massive turnout. Early voting's done. People are going to go tomorrow, and depending on how I think a lot of people too. Chris made a good point that, did Mega Matt get because of the late, and it was kind of late, right, on Friday that he got the endorsement. But did that tell people, he's going to win for sure, so I'm not going to show up?
And how many candidates are left?
4,700.
No, how many for the Republicans?
What do we have? Gino,
Jody, Epps.
Well, now I have to look it up, brother.
What's his name? Dropped out, didn't he?
Lee Reeves dropped out.
Lee Reeves. Yeah, he dropped out.
Okay, you take 15,000 votes and split it between those guys. That's not, and granted, it's not actually going to be equal. Not everybody gets the same amount of votes. But
no.
If you averaged it out, that's not a lot of votes per person.
No. I mean, you may look at somebody who gets by tomorrow on 11,000 votes.
Or less.
Or less. And you got to remember, too, it's like you said, it's not statewide. It's not when everybody else is voting for something. This is a special election. So you've got people that are, it's spring break, not spring break, it's fall break, which we never got when I was a kid. None of us ever got fall break. You know what I got off? I got Thanksgiving and Black Friday off. And then the week before Christmas, the week after Christmas. That was it.
All right, 5 Republicans still in the race.
Okay. 5 Republicans.
Matt Van Epps, Jody Barrett, Gino Bolso, Mason Foley, and Stuart Parks.
Okay. So
just as an average, that's 3,000 votes per person. And I think you're right that it's probably going to come down to Jody and Epps. And if you're looking at those numbers, it literally could come down to just a few thousand votes between them.
Yeah, or a couple hundred. I mean, you never even know. how close this thing's going to be. That's why turnout tomorrow is going to be huge. That's what gets it. And then, we're going to vote tomorrow on their commercials. So I'll just let you guys know that. How many votes in the last general election? That's a good one. Ken, is there a machine that could help you with that? Or Bell? The last general election, how many votes? I bet a lot. Probably do mid
20 million of Biden's votes disappeared. So
I bet, they were stolen. Given to the Venezuelans.
Yeah.
They use it as currency.
Food.
Oh, my God. But you think about it. This isn't a statewide thing. This is a local. This is District 7. Mark Green's retiring. It's not a normal midterm. It's going to be, it's a short run-up. And tomorrow, it's not going to be a lot. It isn't. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's under 1,000 votes that separate everybody. And I wouldn't be surprised if lawyers get involved, because lawyers are involved in everything. No doubt. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how many votes. But it's going to be close for sure. And Jody has the opportunity, I still think, Van Epps. But it's what you do over the next probably 15 hours that matters. Maybe 20. And if the weather's not great, come on. We're a nation of convenience. Nobody wants to vote from their phone because that's not democracy. But then everybody's like, I wouldn't mind if we could figure out a way. If we could figure out a way to vote for the phone, I wouldn't say no. Oh, Stuart Parks dropped out this morning. Why would you drop out the day before at this point? Unless you've got to deal with whoever is going to help you. You're going to help them by throwing your several hundred votes behind them. And that matters in this. That matters in this situation. So we're going to find out. It'll be interesting. Chicago, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. They've had some issues.
And she says they took everyone and then asked questions later.
They just treated us like we were nothing.
Patricia Fisher said she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive in her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me, did I have any warrants? And I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released.
And the battle of what really happened. Were the kids zip-tied? Were they not? Were they partially naked? Were they not? Was there Blackhawks? There were. Why are people rappelling down a building? This is serious. These are real questions to ask. And I've got no question. I would ask these questions. Was this a bit of an overkill? The building's right there. Do you need to repel? Now, if you're looking for a super killer, okay. I can. Let's talk about it. But does it? And we've talked about this a gazillion times here. The reality is, Democrats, you did this to yourself by allowing 12 plus million people to wander through like it was Disneyland into our country. You made up bizarre things where everybody could apply for asylum. You've got NGOs handing out, this is what you do when you get to the border. These are the things you say here. Then you started giving up apps and all these kind of stuff. And then lo and behold, everybody's like, whoa, this is too much. We need to get rid of some people. Some people aren't here for real. They're not here because of political asylum. They're here for economic opportunity. We need to send some of these people back. We don't even know who some of these people are. And then what happened? Well, people got to see how the sausage was made. And people were not thrilled by that.
Cincinnati video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human?
Where's humanity? Not the human. They're humans. Yeah, it's fair to ask questions. Like, I am a person who I'm all about, let's fix this nightmare of immigration. And we need to do it in a way that's smart. we also need to get bad people out of here. And think about this for a second, how bizarre that this is when you really think about this. We have law enforcement agencies that will not work with one another based on some sort of bizarre resistance to what they deem as evil. So you could have a person in custody at the state level, the city, whatever it is, who is wanted by ICE, who is in many cases already been ordered to be removed, sometimes a few times ordered to be removed, and you're going to go, we're not going to work with them. And you're like, why aren't you going to work with them? Because we're not going to work with them. Because they're what? This is their job. ICE didn't come around with Trump, by the way. This was not Trump. Trump didn't come in, become president, and then he's like, all right, we're going to have ICE. We're going to have these guys, and we're going to dress them up like it's the movie The Purge. And we're going to send them out there to, no, they've been around a while. They were around for Obama. They were around for Trump. They were around for Biden. It just wasn't the politics that this has become, which is frustrating for all of us because we all want to see bad dudes out of here. But if you're not willing to work with ICE, what do you expect them to do? Go, sorry, they said we can't come here and work. They're not willing to hand over the bad person because they've got to do some sort of resistance. And because of that, well, we're just going to be on our way. That isn't going to happen. It isn't. Then you've got people like Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's useless.
The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
Wow, he's just useless.
Can they do that?
No, they can. They can say all the things they want to say, but it's all, again, Ken, it goes back to, you really don't, it's like telling people you can't wear the mask.
So what I would like to see, and of course with nobody getting hurt, I would like to see where the Chicago Police Department would actually enforce that against immigration agents.
Yeah, I would like to see that too. Just like California, when they asked them about, are you going to, after they passed their you can't wear a face mask thing, are you going to enforce that? And the cops are like, no.
Right.
No.
Right.
That's not our jurisdiction.
I mean, does he understand what he's asking Chicago PD to do?
Yes, he does. And Chicago PD is not going to do it because, again, that's not their jurisdiction. They don't even know. Chicago PD doesn't even know where they're at for the most part. That's not they're not being told that because that's, they're not telling them if they're raiding a drug house. They're not going to tell these guys what's going on if they're ICE and they're going to go somewhere. The issue, though, goes back to this. Why do you not allow people that are in your custody to be turned over to ICE when they have orders to be removed, when all I hear is due process, due process? They've had due process. In many cases, they've been due processed almost to death, and you still won't do it. And then you pass these silly things where you get people clapping, but it has no teeth. No teeth. You're not interested in the solution. And so what happens? If you can't get the bad guys, they're going to go look elsewhere. Coming up. Who knows what else we'll talk about today? A lot of stuff going on. A lot of people still chiming in. Person chimed in earlier, Ken, said, broke their ankles at the bounce house. We were talking about people that hurt themselves as they get a bit older.
Oh, trampolines.
I went to a trampoline park about 2 months ago. I will tell you my story. It is, let's just say, don't do. I don't care what kind of socks they give you. Don't do it. Okay? Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 98.7. Bulwark Capital wants to give you an opportunity to have a second opinion on what's going on when it comes to your retirement, your investments. It's not going to cost you anything but a little bit of time. Bulwark is amazing. They're up tremendously, and they're continuing each and every day to do so well. And why is that? Value investing, looking for the best opportunities, lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. So this is what I want to do. You get one retirement, one shot. Make sure it's set up right. They want to give you a fresh perspective on everything that's going on with all your investments in retirement. You can sign up for your free, doesn't cost you anything, absolutely free, second opinion. Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com. That's knowyourriskpodcast.com. Or you can call 866-779-RISK, 866-779-RISK. Takes about 45 minutes. They're going to give you everything and map out where they think you should go to get where you want to be. It's really informative. Worst case scenario is you learned a bunch of stuff and it doesn't cost you anything. Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com to sign up today. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 25284.
Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling telling protesters don't box in the ICE agents. Otherwise, that's coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Don't tase me, bro.
Don't tase me, bro.
Don't tase me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the police chief there in Chicago is saying, it's okay to protest.
Yes.
But don't box these guys in.
No. I mean,
they don't, they're not taking that lightly.
It is.
Especially after all that's gone down here in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you forget that point, too, where you've had the shooting at the ICE facility.
Yes, sir.
In Dallas. You've had the threats nonstop, which is real. You've had a lot of stuff that has happened that, as you know, it's got everybody kind of on awareness mode, and you think that you're going to drive your car, box them in, and that somehow they're going to let that go. And the fraternal order of the Chicago police force, whatever the union stuff's called, came out and said the fact that somebody told them no this weekend when it came to the riots and stuff that were going on, when they called to ask for police help with all of this stuff, and they said, no, we're not going to send anybody, they got blasted for it. Because, no, it's a cop. You may not like that they're ICE, or they may be telling you, one of these politicians telling you to do something. That's still a police officer that needs help. And if you're going to go box them in, well, you're going to screw around and you're going to see what happens.
Yes, sir.
That lady got shot.
Yeah.
Right? And they took another guy in custody, and she said she hit him. What are you doing?
Goodness.
What are you doing?
The M16 is not for show.
It is amazing.
It's real.
The stupid is strong. The stupid is absolutely, I feel like it's getting stronger every day with people. And your attitude towards, well, we're going to go get these people and we're going to show, you're not going to show them. Guess who's got the biggest gang? The government. With the best toys.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that either. And the best, let's not forget this, not only have the best toys, they have the best representation when it comes to law. So it's a really lose for you. And the thought that, the cops have to come out and go, hey, look, maybe don't box them in. Maybe don't throw things at them. Maybe don't attack them. If you want to chant funny things, if you want to hold up, all kinds of signs, all right, go ahead, knock yourself out. That's the beauty of America. But you start throwing stuff, you start boxing them in, you start trying to hit them with cars, they're going to take their gloves off, and their punches land way different. And you've got, Brandon Johnson, who's just an idiot. Where do they find these people? Is nobody normal run for any office in any of these places? Honest to God. There's nobody who's got a common sense. Lori Lightfoot, Brandon Johnson, they're the worst. We sit here and make fun of old Freddie, but trust me, comparatively to that, I'll tell you what. Coming up, hour number 3, who knows what we'll talk about. It'll be fun, I promise you that. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.70.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Chicago, Police Superintendent Larry Snelling telling protesters don't box in law enforcement officers. That includes ICE, because not only is it against the law, he says it could be deadly.
If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed, and that this could end in a deadly situation.
Meanwhile, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signing an executive order establishing so-called ICE-free zones following increased clashes between ICE and Chicago protesters.
Establishing ICE-free zones, banning immigration officers from any operation on public property, including schools, libraries, and parks.
ICE cannot enter establishments without a valid warrant.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signing an executive order.
Trump's federalized ICE personal military shot and killed someone.
And
I'm calling on this president to leave us the freak alone.
there have been more scuffles during protests. Chicagoans claim U.S. citizens have been dragged into vans and detained.
Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez facing a felony battery charge after an attack on a 69-year-old truck driver during a parking dispute in Indianapolis. Prosecutors say the driver stabbed Sanchez in self-defense. The charge could mean up to 6 years in prison. Sanchez was in town for a broadcast assignment but didn't appear on air. He's due in court tomorrow. And the U.S. Supreme Court has begun its session. The new term could be a test to see if the justices decide to limit President Trump's presidential power. As cases about tariffs and the firing of independent federal employees are on the docket, we get more from ABC's Devin Dwyer.
Legal experts say the justices to watch in many of these big cases are Justice Amy Coney Barrett and Chief Justice John Roberts. They're two conservatives, but two that are more inclined to find a moderate middle ground. And decisions in all of those cases are expected sometime before the end of June 2026.
And a federal judge has agreed to hear arguments on whether human smuggling charges in Tennessee against Kilmar Abrego Garcia are unlawfully retaliatory. The Salvadoran national deported earlier this year despite a court order blocking his removal. Then after the U.S. Supreme Court ordered his return, prosecutors quickly revived that previously dormant smuggling case. Now the judge says there's enough evidence to suggest the charges may be in retaliation for that legal win. The court has ordered a hearing on October 10th. Abrego Garcia still in custody and has pleaded not guilty. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
I just checked. Government's still closed. I don't know what to say. We still had to be here. We're here. That's what we do. Matt will be back here today. He took his mandatory days off last week for the government being closed.
More importantly, Rush is going back out on tour.
That's right. Did you hear that, Ken?
I did. Brother Bilal told me.
Rush on tour with a chick.
Yeah, Annika Niles is her name. She's going to be doing the drums on the tour.
Oh, sure.
You think she's going to have a setup like Neil had?
I would seriously doubt it.
No, they just gave her one bongo.
I really doubt it. I don't think they're going to pressure her to try to look like she's replacing him in any form or fashion.
Well, she's hotter than him, so there's that. She's 42. She's from Ostenburg, Germany.
She played with Jeff Beck for a while.
Yeah.
So she's got some cred.
She's got some cred, guys. She's got a little street cred. Checking out her stuff. She's got critical reception from many people. #1 rising star in Drum Magazine.
Well, there you go.
She's won that several times in a row. She was, are you ready for this? She's the best drummer according to Music Radar. So she is.
Well, if you're going to have somebody step into Neil's shoes, you better find somebody that's really, really good.
Yeah, and she's also won the Drummy Awards, which I had no idea was real. And best clinician, best educator, best fusion drummer. You know, here's the thing. In today's world where you can see so many things on YouTube and stuff, you can probably advance in ways that you couldn't years ago so much faster. And because you see a lot of people out there that are doing stuff and you're just like, my goodness me. So we'll see. I mean, you know, better looking than old Neil Peart. When do they kick? Are they coming to America?
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to be coming to America. Rush. All you uncles out there, get ready for that. That's not very nice, Chad. Middle East, they're going to solve the problem. Looks like it, maybe, kind of, sort of. Is that true?
This is, I think, the last best chance of a ceasefire and a potential long-term peace. If this falls apart, then we're going down the wrong route, which would be a continuation of this horrible war.
So the continuation of the horrible war, the wrong route, will it happen? Over the weekend, I guess, did you see, I was telling Bell, did you see that Trump got mad at Bibi because he kept bombing? And he's like, I'm trying to fix this. Take the win, Bibi. Why are you so effing depressing all the time? He's yelling. Because he just won't give it up.
Was he saying that directly to him, or was he
on
saying
the
it
phone.
to the press?
He's saying you just never take the win. You're never effing happy. Ever. You're never, ever happy. So take the win. And again, I don't know when this is going to, and what it looks like. There's some issues with Hamas on, okay, we start returning people. When do you start returning ours? How soon are you guys going to be out of here? Because that's one of the big things. Are they going to be out next week? Are they going to be out in several months? Because what they say in Hebrew isn't what they say to the American press and the English-speaking press. So that's an issue as well. So there's a chance that we could start to see some stuff this week, which would be huge. That's a win. That's a massive win. And there's a chance this thing could fall apart. We'll go over all the charges that Bibi has against him coming up in a little bit, because he's got a lot of charges. And when I talk about the fact that he's got serious charges, this was long before October 7th. These things started, he was already charged with. By the way, Stuart Parks has not dropped out of the race. His campaign consultant just texted us. All right, so put him back in the race, guys. Sorry, Stuart. We did not know. We had no idea. Not because tomorrow it is election. Well, it's primary day, which could be election day, because I think we all know that.
We didn't say Stuart Parks dropped out.
Yeah, I think I said, somebody said that Stuart did. Maybe I didn't. No, somebody said that. I said Sally said Stuart Parks dropped out.
Nope, he's in.
Yeah, he's in. He's in like Flynn. So, and tomorrow is it. And the rain is going to come between 1 and 2, you say? Could be heavy, some thunderstorms.
That's when it is most likely.
Snow? Hurricane?
Heaven forbid snow.
Snow?
Let me tell you something. If it snows in Tennessee in October, then I guess there's just nowhere I can live.
There's nowhere you could live? Ever?
Ever.
Yeah, that would be tough. I mean, yeah, we expect it in Wyoming and parts of the Great Plains at a certain time of the year, but this would be, what's the earliest that you've been here that you've had snow?
January, December, maybe. Well, on Christmas a couple of years ago, there were some flurries that I remember.
But
or maybe
nothing
it did snow because it was freezing. We were below freezing for multiple days, and that's when the Tennessee Valley Authority went to the utilities who they provide, supply energy to heat our homes, and they said you got to do some rolling roadblocks or we're going to run out of capacity.
Okay.
Or roadblocks, rolling blackouts.
Oh, not blackouts.
Roadblocks.
Roadblocks. That'd
They
be
put
great.
up roadblocks
Guys,
to stop the gas.
The snow's coming. We could lose power. Everybody, let's do some rolling roadblocks.
Yeah.
So Stuart Cooper is what the guy said dropped out. Stuart Cooper. There's a lot of Stewarts in this race. Too many Stewarts. We only need one. So we'll see. We'll see what it looks like, though, kids. Huh? This is going to be interesting tomorrow because then we're going to vote on their commercials. Because there was a lot of commercials. We got to start doing the commercials. They got to let us do them. That should be number one. We meet you for an hour, we talk, then we do an honest commercial. Would be really good. That's what we think we should do. Because
might not work out well for you in terms of what we say, but at least it'll sound better than the crap you've been doing.
And it will be honest. And it'll come from a place of, we met you, we hung out, we chatted. Here's a real look at your vision.
We had a beer, you paid the bill.
There you go. There you go. Can Geddy Lee still sing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Have you seen Rush?
Oh, yeah, I've seen probably 4 or 5 times.
Really? Ken, have you seen Rush?
Not live.
Well, you wouldn't want to see him dead.
No, I have not seen them in concert.
Okay.
I would see them in concert.
Well,
they're going to be out here. I wonder if they're coming here. You'd have to.
No, the first round of dates are, actually, I just had them up, and I think I closed it, but they're playing L.A., Mexico City, Dallas, Cleveland, Toronto, and, Madison Square Garden.
Cleveland?
Yeah. That's where they broke out of.
They like to bowl.
You know what?
Cleveland was the first big city to support them.
Plus, if you're going to do something Midwestern, it's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah. The other thing is, you can get everybody from Michigan and everywhere else to cruise over to Cleveland a little bit easier. But you would think you'd come here.
I mean, this has got to be a test run to see how well they do, and if they do better, they'll end up adding more dates.
Oh, I would assume so. I mean, the money's just too big. I mean, because, you also got to think, too, you're not dead, right? I mean, they're not going to be jumping off stuff, I wouldn't assume, especially after all the stuff we've been. How old's Geddy Lee? It's got to be.
Geddy and Alex are both 72.
72.
And supposedly, Neil's wife, who is in control of his estate, gave her blessing for this. So
no, that's good. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have a falling out, right? Like, they kind of stayed together the whole time without any real falling out. So I don't know why you would want to.
In fact, when he got cancer and he told them and he said, I want this kept completely private, they didn't talk about it to anyone, and they were doing a regular run because Neil was living in L.A. at the time, and they would go down there on a very regular basis just to spend time with him after he had gotten diagnosed.
Okay. See? I mean, yeah, so why not? Why not have a good relationship? Plus, she's going to make money, too, I'm assuming.
I'm sure she will, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure those tickets are going to go fast.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's probably going to make millions. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So, Jason says they don't do it for the money. They do it for the fans. No, that might be true. There's some bands I think that do it for the fans.
It's probably a mix of both.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt that somebody's going to pay you millions of dollars to tour. That doesn't suck, is what we're trying to say. Kids, it doesn't suck. Speaking of sucking, SCOTUS. Oh, man. This is going to be interesting, the whole SCOTUS thing. So we got all kinds of stuff happening with SCOTUS. And one of the big things is the redistricting. So there's a big case out of Louisiana, and redistricting has to do with race.
The court will decide whether or not the use of race in drawing election maps is unconstitutional, even though the Voting Rights Act of 1965 says that map drawers need to take race into account. They cannot draw election maps that disproportionately silence voters of color. Is that whole regime unconstitutional? Some members of this conservative majority seem inclined to say it is.
So that's going to be... So for all of the stuff you're seeing for the redistricting, when you see it in Texas, you see it in California, in the battle that's going on there in those states, and they're going to try to... What's going to happen in Louisiana is they've redrawn districts that, in theory, disproportionately take away the power of the vote in areas where there are minorities. And now they want to see if it gets in front of this court, can that stick? Where, the winner gets to draw up the districts to a point where you can take away voices in their mind of people of color, BIPOC, as our good friend would say. That's one of the big ones. The other one that is going to be out there, and there's a few of them that are going to be out there. Some of it, too, is Trump and his powers.
This is going to be a term that will tell us whether or not there are limits to the Supreme Court's really expansive view of presidential power. Already in the numbers, they have sided disproportionately with Donald Trump, at least on the emergency or temporary docket. So many of these cases initially out of the gate challenging Trump policies. Lower courts have put them on hold. The Supreme Court has rolled back those blocks, but temporarily.
And he is so many executive orders. Like, he has blown away. The amount of executive orders he has is just insane. So they're going to look at that. If the tariffs is one of those things where they're going to look, does he have the right for the tariffs? Does he not have the right for the tariffs? Is this the power of the purse has always been in the hands of Congress? But even before Trump, Congress weakened themselves. They did. They weakened themselves, started to give away more and more power, didn't fight it as hard, because they like the fact they don't have to make too many decisions. Because if you're not on the record that much, it's hard to hold things against you, especially during certain times of the year. We'll call that election time. And, of course, one of the biggies.
Last term, we saw the Supreme Court address the scope of nationwide injunctions as applied to the birthright citizenship order. Now the justices potentially could be taking up whether that is constitutional. His new interpretation that anyone not born to a U.S. citizen parent or permanent resident is not eligible for U.S. citizenship. Obviously, a huge monumental question.
That may be the biggest, along with the powers. And they've got a couple other ones that have to do with, I think one out of Colorado that has to do with, is it conversion therapy? I think that's it. And whether or not you can have conversion therapy or not conversion therapy. There's several that are going to be big, but these are kind of the ones that people are looking at. The birthright citizenship is a big deal. Trump's powers and the president's powers. And his right to, as he overstepped in certain areas, has he went and stomped on the toes of Congress, which, yeah, he has, but several presidents have. But they don't seem to mind because they don't want any paper trail to them making a decision that may upset people that would vote for them or against them. Because that's how they roll. What can I do to fly under the radar and continue to get voted on over and over again? That is the art of what Congress has become. Coming up, government shutdown still going on. We'll maybe talk a little bit about that. Also, the whole thing with Mark Sanchez, the football player, more stuff is coming out about that, and it is crazy. Everest, Mount Everest. And what's the Purple Revolution? It's nothing to do with Prince. He was just the revolution.
It was Prince and the Revolution.
But Prince wore a lot of purple.
Yeah.
But this has nothing to do with it.
I think he has this copyrighted. Somebody might get sued.
Somebody might get sued. We'll talk about that as well. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
On YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, and the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycon. Wear them every single day. They are, and I've got two different pairs. I've got the everyday earbuds, which are amazing. And then I've got the classics. The classics I wear when I do all of my work which is awesome. There's no stems, there's no wires, multi-connectivity, 20% off right now across the board on everything when it comes to Raycons and everything they offer. 30-day happiness guarantee. They start about half the price of all these other premium audio brands for sound quality that, in my mind, is incredible, built by people who love sound, who know sound, and the fit. You don't have to worry about these things falling out of your ears. It's almost like they snap in like the Lego. It's insane. So I want you to save big. Use my code. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Save in a major way for the best earbuds, the best sound quality with a 30-day happiness guarantee. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad.
Drivers, looks like we got a crash blocking the right two lanes of 24 westbound there at Bell Road. Then over by, looks like Vanderbilt, injury crash, 24th Avenue South and Blakemore Avenue. Not a good place for a crash there. And the Chicago police chief just held a news conference after a tense weekend where a woman was shot after allegedly trying to hit ICE agents with her car. Hear that coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is illegal, in fact, to call out the National Guard or to send troops into American cities. The Posse Comitatus Act prohibits that.
Posse Comitatus. Remember that song?
Wasn't that from Lion King?
Yep. Posse Comitatus. Is it illegal? Yeah, it is. Now, can you make an argument on the federal side of stuff, especially with ICE, that they could use the extra help? You could make that argument. You can make that argument in that situation, which is what this was, is about. Now, as far as crime and, whether or not, no, they shouldn't be there for crime. It spells it out that that's not what they do. That's not who they are, and they're prohibited from doing that on our soil outside of riots or insurrection. And the riots, this is not really the riot. Like, L.A. was riots. L.A. was riots. But you can make an argument on the federal side of stuff at ICE detention centers that you could have some protection. Now, as far as just normal everyday crime, no, that's not what they're there for. So it is, again, this is the battle that's going to go on. There's lawsuit after lawsuit. Trump lost a lawsuit this weekend, and which was kind of funny the way that it happened. So he goes and he's by the way, a judge that he appointed said no.
It is remarkable to hear a Trump-appointed judge say that she is troubled by the efforts of the administration to try to go around what the court has already ordered. And not only this, but it comes at a time where it has really left the court scrambling. It is unusual to have many of these hearings happening late night over the phone. The court scrambling to try to respond to how the Trump administration is moving forward, trying to carry out the president's orders here.
And so the way it's worked now is Trump didn't call in the Illinois National Guard for Illinois. Texas National Guard went there. In Oregon, he didn't call in the Oregon National Guard. He said, look, I didn't call them in. I called the California National Guard. So he's trying to play the word game. No, I moved them over here and there. But could you, it's 4D checkers. 4D checkers, right? Remember Chinese checkers? No idea what that is to this day. Right. But everything with Trump sends to end up in court. And we are a very litigious society. Long before Trump, we were suing each other for all kinds of stuff. The reality of dealing with what is a federal situation, in particular, as Ken and I were talking about earlier, based on all the stuff, not just Charlie Kirk, but the shooting at the ICE, you've got people out there who are saying horrific things. And I don't know how real or not real it is to have bounties, because I heard that, what's her name? Kristi Noem said there's bounties on the heads of several ICE members. I don't know if that's real or not, but you can't take anything lightly anymore based on the fact that you have people killed at an ICE detention facility. Somebody walked into that detention facility a month and a half earlier in Dallas, said they were going to blow themselves up. So you got to take some of this stuff a little bit more serious. I don't think they should be fighting crime, but yeah, you can make this argument. You can. And that's what they're going to look at, because everything is going to get to the Supreme Court. That's where it should just start. I know we have ways that we go about doing things. Let's just start it there. Could we just start it there to be fantastic? Let's just start it at the Supreme Court. We'll go from there.
Who's Chief Justice? I forgot. Is it Kennedy?
It's Roberts.
Roberts. Yeah. You just gave him an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Don't I have enough to deal with already?
Yeah. I mean, probably. I mean, he gets it. He gets it. And they're going to hear a lot of different things over the next several weeks, because they kick off tomorrow, their latest session. But I think, again, I don't like using the National Guard. I don't want them on our streets, and I don't think they should be policing crime at all. That's constitutional. It says so. When it comes to stuff that's federal, in particular situations like this, you can make a much better argument. D.C.'s different because it is federal. But alas, here we are. And here's the other thing. Trump just doesn't listen. It's the other side of it. He just, okay, well, fine. Okay, we can't use Illinois. Hey, Governor Abbott, you want to send stuff? And then Pritzker's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And Abbott's all, because I think that's what he would say to him. Because
Abbott will be like, I'll roll over your toes.
I will. I'm going to come on over there. What do you think of that? Coming up, what is a purple revolution? We'll talk about that. And if you don't know who Jay Jones is, you're about to find out. I don't know if Chris talked about it.
Doesn't she do weather? News for us?
No. This is different. This is different Jay Jones. This person wants to be the AG of Virginia. And let's just say, no, should drop out. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling held a news conference after a tense weekend where a woman was shot after allegedly trying to run over ICE agents with her car.
When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you.
Snelling says the police department respects Mayor Brandon Johnson's directive on ice-free zones, not allowing immigration agents to stage for raids on public property, including schools, libraries, and parks. He says police will work within the framework of Chicago city policy, and he says officers will not be used to enforce federal immigration laws. Right now in Nashville, a Metro Council member is drawing controversy with a new resolution. Jenny Welsh urging the council to denounce what she calls the genocide of Palestinians by Israel and the U.S. This resolution cites international human rights reports and claims of more than 60,000 deaths in Gaza since October 2023. It's set for discussion at the October 9th council meeting, already sparking strong reactions across the city. And still no sign of the federal government shutdown ending, but White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump's working the phone.
He was on the phone with Speaker Johnson. He's also spoken with the Senate Majority Leader, who are in touch with, of course, moderate Democrats and Democrats across the board, who we understand hopefully want to do the right thing by their constituents to reopen the government.
Lawmakers in the Senate expected to vote today on the same bills that they haven't been able to pass. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez now facing a felony battery charge after a violent encounter in downtown Indianapolis where prosecutors say a 69-year-old truck driver was attacked during a parking dispute, leading the driver to stab Sanchez in self-defense. This charge carries up to 6 years in prison. Sanchez was in town for a broadcast assignment but did not appear on air. He is due in court tomorrow. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Low tonight 70, high tomorrow 79. More occasional showers and storms. Drier Wednesday, even cooler then. Get the latest on WSB4 on TV and the app as well.
USS, United Structural Systems, is there for you. Now, let me tell you something. Most people, you guys have no idea what's going on below, right? You can't see it. You have issues with your foundation, maybe some sinking in some areas. That's not good. You've got cracks when it comes to your foundation, your basement, that water. Next thing you know, it's gotten in there over the last several months. And, what happens? Wood rot, mold. Mold, by the way, is a nightmare that you do not want to deal with. USS can help. United Structural System has over 30 years experience in basement, crawl space, waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, foundation repair. You name it, they can do it. They're going to come out. They're going to give you an absolutely free inspection. They're not going to sell you anything unnecessary. That's not who they are and what they do. They're there to help, and they are the best around. Call them today. Don't let any of these little things become something so big that it costs you way too much. Let them get ahead of it. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855 or online at USSTN.com.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, you can chill by the crystal clear Gulf.
And stroll downtown St. Pete's galleries and murals.
And hang with the locals at a fishing pier.
And escape to secluded white sand beaches.
Secluded, huh?
Yeah, and they're spectacular.
And then grab a sandwich at the grouper capital of the world.
And maybe a night
10 seconds.
a rooftop bar with sunset views.
Okay. In St. Pete, Clearwater, you'll find just what you're looking for.
And then some.
Your Florida escape begins at visitspc.com.
Relief Factor. You want to feel better? Of course you do. Relief Factor is going to help you with that. 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to support your body's natural inflammatory response, especially when it comes to overexerting yourself. We were talking about this. As you get a little bit older in life, things hurt a lot more. Things that you used to do all the time, woo, they hurt a lot more. Aches and pains in your joint, but especially with your muscles. Now, let me tell you something. Relief Factor you can take every day. It is for general muscle aches and pains. It is something that I swear by. I take it every day. My wife takes it every day. Formula is safe, it's non-addictive, and it's ideal for regular use. And it's got amazing things, omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, curcumin, acarin. All of these things help when it comes to your inflammatory response. And it is something that you will see and feel a difference on. This is what I want you to do. Right now, quick start, 3-week quick start, less than a cup of coffee a day, $19.95. You go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com and try it for yourself. You will feel absolutely amazing. Relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. 800, the number 4-RELIEF for Relief Factor. Bow, 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 bow. This guy right here.
Hi, I'm Jay Jones, Democrat running for Attorney General of Virginia, and we're going to talk about public safety.
Okay, let's talk about Jay Jones. If you don't know who Jay Jones is, this story is getting bigger and bigger every day. He's a Democrat, by the way, who, let's just say, a few years ago, he had a text message conversation with a Republican, the state legislature in Virginia. And it was about the former Speaker of the House. And what he said about them is now come to light. All right, here we go. You decide if you should beep this or not. So Jay's talking to a Republican who's also in the state legislature there. And he says, and this is a conversation between two people who are politicians. One now wants to be the AG. The other one was a former state rep on the Republican side. They were friends, opposite sides, apparently. And the lady says, hey, they say nice things about everyone, LOL. Talking about the former Gilbert is the guy's name, him and his wife. And he says, if those guys die before me, I'll go to their funerals and pee on their graves. Send them out awash in something. She writes back, Jay Jones. Then he says this, which, of course, is just insane. This is a couple years ago, right? This guy wants to be the AG. 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, that's the guy. Hitler and Pol Pot. You don't know who Pol Pot is? Look him up. Spoiler alert. Put 2 in Gilbert. Think about that. Talking about Hitler and Pol Pot, 2 of the worst people on earth. He says, no, let's put 2 in this guy. A GOP Speaker of the House in Virginia. This is the insanity. The person says, Jay, please stop. LOL, okay. And then they go on to say, look, Jay, it really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death upon them. You weren't simply asking questions, and you know it. I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic, and this is where it gets just totally twisted. She says, you weren't trying to understand. You weren't talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. That's what you were talking about. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. Think about that. So death of the parents and death of the kids. So policy-wise, you will make a move that is different. Then he goes on to say, I think Todd and Jennifer are evil, and they're breeding little fascists. Yes. Sorry, you don't, you know, this, the whole, well, it was a private conversation. No. The governor's, one of the people running for governor is like, yeah, you know, it was a joke. You don't wish death upon somebody's kids so policy can change. The hell do you think you are? You know it's bad when you're a Democrat and Morning Joe's like, yeah, you got to drop out. Like when Morning Joe, the guy who said, listen to me now.
Yeah.
Write this down. This is the best he's ever been. You know it's bad when he's like, yeah, you got to drop out. This was a few years ago. I'm sorry. You're insane. First of all, look, and policy-wise, yes, when things in life happen sometimes, do people have a different perspective, right? And you've seen that. Like, gay marriage is a big, big thing. You've seen people whose, perfect example is Cheney, right? Like, you would think the hardcore, well, one of his kids is gay, so he doesn't hate his kid. And looks and goes, oh, it's different. But you're talking about somebody else's kids getting killed so you can have some sort of negotiating ploy that you think is going to work. That is a sick individual. Sorry, I don't buy it. And the fact that other people out there try to make it some sort of, well, Trump says stuff and enough. Come on, Trump's not wishing death on your kids. Yes, he did say I could shoot somebody, Madison Avenue or whatever, and I'd still I'd still get elected. But that was not in writing, and that was not to say I want policy to change. He was just trying to say, I've got so much momentum. And that wasn't a good thing to say either.
He was being totally hyperbolic.
Yes. I heard somebody say something about Trump the other day that I thought was real. I think it was Nigel Farage said it. I don't think you should ever take anything Trump says literally, but you should take everything he says seriously. And I thought, man, that's perfect with Trump. So he's hyperbolic and he says a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of seriousness inside of there. There's no doubt about that. There isn't. What is the Purple Revolution? Is it coming to a place near you? This is interesting. You're seeing it more and more. I'm getting it sent to me all the time. And it's coming from a lot of younger conservatives who are frustrated at what they see going on and frustrated at what they see in the world of social media, frustrated in what they see by both parties becoming one party, and that party is a party of division.
If you're a leftist, listen up. It's time for the Purple Revolution. Hi, my name is Hunter Howell, and I'm a right-wing independent creator. And I'm telling you right now, the issue is not right versus left. It is up versus down. These people at the top do not care about me, and they definitely don't care about you or your friends either, okay? And even though I slightly lean right, we might not agree on every policy. I think you're probably a cool-ass person. You're probably a great human being, okay? And I want to share that message of unity and loving thy neighbor. And we must unite, and we have to do it now if we want our future to be better, to be prosperous, okay? I am telling you, it is intentional to keep us divided and mad at each other and blaming each other for all of these problems. And in reality, we all probably want similar things, okay? And in order to get to that place of a better future for our generation, for our children's generation, we have to unite.
And I'm getting a ton of that. I'm getting a ton of younger MAGA in particular, males, and younger females that listen to my show who aren't uber progressive, who like they're progressive-ish. They're more of a classic liberal, but they're not wackadoo. And they're feeling the same thing, that you've got a uniparty on both sides that live to divide, that want no part. We talked about it last week with Matt. We've talked about it forever here, if you guys are new to the show. It is Coke and Pepsi. They're both selling soda or pop, depending on where you are in the country. And they don't want a third or a fourth. They don't want somebody to get involved in their world. They like what's going on and the control they have. And they love the fact that, like earlier we were talking about Bad Bunny. They love the fact that they make a big deal out of that and everybody fights about it. You know why? Because it takes the eyes off of what they're doing. And what they're doing is what? We've got a government shutdown. They can never pass anything without a massive fight. It's never about the best for the people, ever. ever is it about the best for the people. Both sides do it. Trump's been as guilty as anybody. When it comes to the hey, you guys fight down there, let us do whatever it is we're doing up here. Both sides have. You've got a world where you've got a group of people who enjoy the power they have. They don't want to give up any of it whatsoever. They enrich themselves, and us fighting over silly stuff like Bad Bunny, you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't make things cheaper. You heard Ken's earlier today. How much is beef? $5,000 an ounce now? Beef is incredible. It doesn't make your health insurance any better or cheaper. We're fighting over the halftime show. They like that. They love that stuff. The algorithms are bent towards it, and they're fine stoking all the fire. But we need to focus on the stuff that matters. What are you doing for us here? What are you doing for us on a daily basis? Remember, we're your boss. We don't work with you. We don't work underneath you. We're the boss. And I've said this. You know, people always ask me what my show's about. You know what it's about? Having fun, first of all. It's always got a number one. Two, we're the exhausted majority. There's more of us. Some people lean a little bit right. Some people lean a little bit left. It's the bully pulpit where they have bullhorns, but there's not a lot of them. But unfortunately, they're dominating way too damn much. Most of us want the same thing. Our kids to go to school and get a good education, right? Opportunity one day to own a house, especially if you're younger. We don't want, I get so frustrated because both parties will come and attack me. That's when I know I've done something right. Neither of them will look at anything other than their side of the argument and story. The fastest growing registered voters are independents. The problem is, at the end of the day, because of the way it's rigged and they've set it up, what do you have? You're still voting for turd sandwich or giant douchebag. Thank you very much. South Park. Which is the way they want it. Absolutely the way they want it. And that should frustrate all of us. Because we're their boss. We send them there. They act as if we're serfs. And we're not. Go and work for us.
I mean, they took the weekend off.
The weekend. The government shut down. The United States of America government is shut down. And like you said, they took the weekend off.
And here's the thing. I mean, I get federal workers are going to get their pay retroactively. I get that. But what about in the meantime? Some of these people are paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't care.
No.
They just took the weekend off.
Took the weekend off. And they're going to get together. And today, the meetings are going to be via Zoom and on the phone. They're not getting in a room and hashing this thing out. You want to know why? Because nobody's got concise polling that says they're the ones that are in trouble.
It's not affecting them yet.
Nope. And we need to make it affect them.
Oh, and by the way, they get paid.
Yeah, they get paid. Our military, they're not getting paid. Think about that. Our men and women that are out there busting their ass, not getting paid. The people that are working, making sure our planes land safely on antiquated equipment,
yes,
they're not getting paid. You know who is? Chuck Schumer, Thundoggle himself. They're getting paid. That should frustrate all of us. Should. All right, coming up, Matt, I believe he's back.
He's back.
I saw that he posted something earlier about a haunted TV. I'm going to ask him about that. It's only $12.99 for the haunted TV. I kind of like that. We'll talk a little bit about that, among other things. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7. No, sir, I'm not going to jump out of a plane. I was telling Belle, so the Gurkhas are a special fighting force. I think they're from Southeast Asia that the Brits use. And when they first came over to train with the SAS, they talked about jumping out of airplanes. And they said, who's ready to do that? And 15 of them raised their hands. And everybody's like, there's 100 of these guys. I thought they're the best in the world. They didn't know that they were going to get parachutes. But 15 of them said, yeah, I'll jump out of an airplane 3,000 feet in the sky. I don't care.
Sure. As one does.
Yeah. So, no, I would not.
I mean,
jump
there are
out.
ways to get down.
Well, there was.
I mean, well, the last time I jumped out of an airplane, I've only done it twice. My instructor, he was complaining all the way up because you go up to like 14,000 feet. And he's complaining about having to work all night the night before and how tired he was.
Absolutely.
And, oh, my, I'm exhausted. I got to be here all day. He was like grumpy about the entire experience. And it was kind of freaking me out a little bit. And I said, it's very loud. And I said, you just, because I'm sitting in front of him, he's behind you and they're strapped in and they pull you in really, really tightly and you're harnessed in 4 places.
Yeah.
And I said, you just get us down. And he said, oh, we'll get down. It's just all about how fast we're going.
I know, because when I jumped, my guy's like, I hate my life. I don't want to be here anymore. I want everybody to just leave me alone. I want to get out of this place. No, I would never
want to
jump
get out of this world.
I would never jump.
If you, I never had a necessarily an affinity to do it, but I did it for charity.
I was going to say, what'd you do it for?
And I would strongly encourage if you do not have an aversion to jumping out of an airplane, in other words, like a phobia, do it. Because it is the most pure, incredible adrenaline I've ever experienced in my life.
See, that's cool. Like some people, that's fine. Like I've handled every critter on the earth that could kill you. Cobras. I've handled all those things. And a lot of people, they wouldn't do that. They'd rather jump out of an airplane.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. See, and it's now, how old were you?
This was 10, I was 40, I was 42.
Yeah, see, see, Ken and I were
43.
talking. The ground hits different, even if you do okay now.
Oh yeah, because you're supposed to lift your legs and slide and let the instructor kind of because he unharnessed. I mean, so the weirdest part about jumping out of an airplane in a tandem jump, which is the way most people do it, right?
Yeah.
Unless you learn, is when you're going in free fall, you're very tight against the instructor, and he's right on your back. Then when you go under canopy, he releases the parachute, and that's the moment, right? I mean, because you don't really think about that until it's happening, and because you're experiencing your sensations are so. They're coming at you so fast, but once you realize he's pulling the chute, that's when the thought goes, well, I hope this goes well.
Yeah.
Because if this doesn't go well, then the next minute is going to be bad. But then then because it's so uncomfortable how tight you are, he unharnesses you and it gives you about 2 inches. And so you are sitting next to him and you drop 2 inches and you think you're going to fall.
How long does it take you once the thing goes whoosh, for you to get down?
We were in free fall for 80 seconds. And then the rest, he did that at 5,000 feet, and that was, probably another 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, which was the most peace I think I've ever experienced on Earth.
Once you realize you're...
Well, yeah, because, you're 5,000 feet in the air. There's no sound. It was a crystal clear day. There are no bird. There's nothing. So you go from this rush of sensation, air and sound and just all of this to the most peaceful moment of your life, at least for me. I just strongly, I understand that people have aversions to it. I get it. I would not put a spider on my body.
Yeah.
Right.
See, Ken and I love spiders. We're pals. We're getting a spider in here.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great. All I'm saying is I assume that spiders are going to try to kill me, and so I kill them first.
So
that's what I do. But different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole bit. That's the whole bit.
I totally get that. I totally get that.
But yeah, it was so peaceful, and so that 3 or so minutes was just so wonderful because now you just went up that adrenaline high, and now you're kind of slowly coming down like you are on the parachute. It's great. It was great.
There you go. What are you going to talk about besides the fact that Rush was your song where you got your virginity? Those of you guys don't know, he was.
I said to Chad, you don't have to say this on there. But yeah, that's fine.
Matt, we were talking about Rush earlier, going back out on concert.
I said I have an affinity for Rush. Why do you have an affinity for Rush? Well, I like Tom Sawyer.
Why is that? To help you get a little nookie.
Special times in my life happening while Tom Sawyer's in the background.
Oh, look at that right there.
Or at least half of the song. Yeah. I was young.
He gets onto the friction of the day.
Oh, look at that.
Man, Tom Sawyer, he gets high on you, and Spacey Invades, he gets by on you. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Or something like that.
Something like that.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the 7th Congressional District race. We'll talk about my trip. We'll talk about the government shutdown. We'll talk about all those things.
Oh, fun.
And more.
And don't forget Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez we'll probably talk about. And I'm going to talk about Uranus.
Oh, I like that place.
I am. I'm going to talk about Uranus.
That's a planet. Or is it?
No, this is the Uranus Fudge Factory.
Oh!
Very different.
Look at that. Look at this here. You guys have a go. We'll do it again tomorrow.